Hello, BookTube, and welcome back. Well, folks, I'm going to do another one of my 5 book recommendation videos. This one is on the First World War. I said that very strangely. I don't know why. There's a plethora to read out. There really is a metric ton of books you can read about the First World, probably more than a metric ton of books that you can read. So these are just some good picks, in my humble opinion, some good picks to get you started. If you're interested in the one of the grimmest, bloodiest war campaigns of all time, maybe just next to the Second World War, unfortunately. But yeah, if you're interested in the subject, because I am absolutely obsessed with military non-fiction. So these 5 picks will, get you going for the subject. And with all the recommendations I give, there's usually like an overarching look, and there's like a post-analysis look, there's memoirs. So I've got a fair flavors, different flavors in here for you to read. So the first one, I wanted a sort of, again, an overview, a general overview of the First World War, 1914 to 1918, maybe a bit of a postscript after it. And I couldn't think of anyone better than John Keegan's The First World War. I say that because it's probably the most well-known overview of the First World War. For these overviews, I usually pick Max Hastings, but not for this. John Keegan has done an exceptional job here of delivering you everything you need to know throughout the 4 years of the Great War. He's done an exceptional job. There's nothing overly dense here. He writes the massive battles that occurred over the First World War in an immensely readable, fast-paced way. He's got personal anecdotes of soldiers from all sides, from politicians of the day. It's crammed with research, but don't let that sounds like going to be really it's not. You'll flick through this because it's an immensely readable book. That's why it's really well known in the military history part, because he's done an exceptional job of presenting a general overview of the First World War. So get that. If you can't really remember that much from the you need to refresh your memory of the First World War, that is a really good book to go to. So the second book is, again, so we're going from the macro into the more micro now. A certain part in the First World War in 1916. We're going to go to the First Day of the Somme by Martin Middlebrook. Oh, is this book superb. The British forces lost nearly 60,000 casualties in the First Day of the Somme. Words can't describe how big and how terrible this battle was, and Martin Middlebrook does a fantastic job of getting this over to you. So at this point right now, the army's starting to get volunteers, and they keep on selling, in the UK. That this is going to get all, it's done in 6 weeks. It's fine. Everything's dandy-o. Lord Kitchener, the marketing campaign with the guy pointing at you with the big tash. That's Kitchener. It's going to be won. Everything's going to be fine in 6 days. Then the Battle of the Somme happened, and everything changed after that. It was like the battle, the Tet Offensive in Vietnam, how much it changed public opinion back in the UK and over in Germany too. This is an incredible book. It really, even if you lack that general knowledge of an overview of the First World War, you'll still get a lot from this book. The anecdotes you get from the soldiers, from just the absolute delivery of this is incredible. It really is a really good account of probably the biggest battle in the First World War, of all those young men jumping over the trenches onto oncoming fire. Where bravery like that comes from, no idea. But yeah, the accounts in this and the delivery is fantastic. And if you can hear chirping, I've got crickets for the tarantulas. So, I don't live with crickets in the house. They're over there in the container. Bit of a segue for you. So yeah, this is a fantastic look at the Battle of Somme. Well worth a read, and it's delivered fantastically. So next, we're going to go to another really well-known book, and I've got this somewhere. Trust me, I can't find it. Can't find it. It's right there. This is The Guns of August by Barbara Tuchman, is it? Barbara wasn't a historian. She was a popular non-fiction writer, and she's probably the first of that kind of like generation of doing it. And it's called The Guns of August because it takes place in 1914 in August. That's all it covers, just the first month of how Europe just descended into utter madness. And it's crafted. She crafts it in such a way it reads like a novel, like a history novel. That's the best way I can probably describe it to you. Of all the key characters from, I think it starts with the King's birthday in the UK and just goes all over the continent of these major heads of all these empires. Some trying, some not so much trying to avoid this oncoming conflict that's going to happen in Europe. Read this book. It's famous for a reason. If you're into your kind of popular history account, it's written for you in a very accessible way, and it's written very narratively. Sorry, gonna have to take a swig of water. I've lost my voice talking all day. Yeah, so The Guns of August is absolutely fantastic. If you just want a really, really quick look at the First World War, of how it started, of all the major people who it's war. And how it later developed till they get to September, and they're all looking at each other going, oh hang on, what have we done here, okay. But they couldn't retreat. They had to go further into the madness, and that's what this book is trying to get across to you, and she does it fantastically well. So if you want to look at the first month of how it all kicks off, pick up The Guns of August. Okie dokie. Hey, where you going, you cheeky little number? I've got my burner phone here. So the next one is a memoir, and it's a memoir of a soldier. And this is a German soldier, though. This is Ernst Junger, I think it's pronounced. Might be getting that wrong. And this is Storm of Steel. Oh, I love memoirs anyway, but this is a really good look from my view anyway, from the other side of the fight, of a guy who's like filled with patriotism, going to fight for the country, being in the trenches and suffering through the trenches, of how all the soldiers felt during 1914, of hiding with all the your munitions going off, of seeing all the friends jump over the trench and then just getting annihilated. So this is a very, very personal account of what this soldier seen, and it's well worth a read. It's it's just greatness on the page of what these people experienced during any of those 4 years, especially when it comes to the larger battles like the Somme or the Verdun. So yeah, and it's a unique perspective coming from a German soldier as well. So, and you can see how his position can also be reflected in a soldier from the other side as well. So this is a fantastic memoir. Go out your way to pick up this because I think it's important, and it's a really, really crafted, well, good read. I think I got those words wrong, jumbled it up, scrabbled that, didn't I? But it's well worth a read, and it's a wee memoir of a soldier's experience in the First World War. So I've got just the one pick left. Drop my phone again. And this is a look at how... Oh, got dead close to you then, didn't I? Oh hello. And drop the phone again. So other people have planned this better and cut it out and edit things, but I just can't be bothered. So the final recommendation is, again, this is what happened after the First World War. So this is Paris, 1919. I'm terrible at remembering subtitles. So this is 6 Months That Changed the World. This is by Margaret Macmillan. This book is superb. I think if it didn't win the I love the Baillie Gifford. It's a prize here in the UK. If it didn't win the Baillie Gifford, I think it was definitely shortlisted, but I think it won. So this is what it says in the tin. This is when everything's been settled, everything's calmed down. So let's get to the table and let's negotiate peace. And then it just takes, the series of all the talks and then condenses it down into a fantastically written book. This is good stuff. It really is a really tight narrative. It's quite good. Pardon me. And it talks about how the kind of, I wouldn't want to say unserious nature of it, because obviously they were taking it serious, but there were so many button of heads. There was like, okay, yeah, we're the mega countries. Let's ignore these countries. Let's take as much as we can from Germany. Let's, and how everything, how it got outlined towards the end wasn't workable. And in the book, she notes down how they all knew that it wasn't workable. And none of them were happy about everything that happened. And it's foreshadowing throughout the book. You get this foreshadowing of this happened and this happened, and oh, hang on, the ball's rolling now until 20 years later, until the Second World War. So that's what you really get from this book, this overshadowing of the peace treaties, just absolutely going not the way anybody wants. And what can I say? It's a as I said, put out narrative. Pick this book up. You'll learn a lot, and especially how different countries negotiate and how they negotiate differently. If they're an empire, if they're a small country, that kind of stuff. Fantastically written book. And that's it, folks. They are 5 World War I recommendations, and I will see you soon. Bye, BookTube.